Welcome to Chapter 2 of my adventure. Saturday, I had reservations to ride the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railway. The morning dawned beautiful, as the past few had, and I put on my uniform that I was given, because this was going to be a special ride. After donning the uniform, I drove down into Durango and got to the train station in time to see the 8 o'clock diesel-led train depart the station. As soon as the 8 o'clock train departed, the 9 o'clock train appeared, and as luck would have it, this being a Saturday in the peak of tourist season in the summer, we had a long train and a doubleheader. My special uniform was due to the fact that I would be riding in one of the locomotive cabs for the first half of the day going up to Silverton. I chose a second cab so that I would have better photographic opportunities. 493 is a K37 class Mikado type narrow gauge steam locomotive with a 282 wheel arrangement. Here's Brock, our fireman for the day, doing some pre-trip checks. And here's the engineer station. Here you see Mark putting in his earplugs. These things are noisy, and in this day and age, there's no reason to damage your ears by listening to all that loud noise all day. With a quick thumbs up, Brock signals that he understands it's time to go. A few quick adjustments, and his side of the engine is ready. The fireman's main duties are to maintain boiler water level, steam pressure, and also monitor the air pressure for brakes. On the other side, Mark ensures that the brakes are released and starts opening the throttle. And here we go. This big lever down below controls forward and reverse and the valve timing for the cylinders. On a double header, the lead engineer is in charge. So you'll see Mark quite often looking out the window, watching the lead engineer for signals and also watching how the engine's performing. A lot of this is by feel and just knowing the engine and knowing the route. It's important to coordinate so that both engines are sharing the load of pulling the train together. Soon we were outside town, gaining a little bit of speed and getting to see some of the beautiful scenery. Up here you see a fisherman waving to us. Our route takes us roughly 45 miles from downtown Durango to the depot in Silverton. We follow the Animas River up through the mountains. These engines were converted to burn oil in recent years. Here we see the modified firebox door. This gives a place for sand to be added to clean the flues. And it also has places for the firemen to regulate the draft, which is mainly controlled by the steam exiting the stack in the front of the locomotive. Soon we arrive at Rockwood to take on passengers. While we're taking on passengers, the lead locomotive detaches and goes ahead to Tank Creek to take on water. That way it saves time because we'll take on water when we get there. The route between Rockwood and Tank Creek has very gentle grades and even some downhill, so even with the longer train, only one locomotive is needed for this section. This section through here is called the High Line at Rockwood Gorge. This was the most expensive part of the railroad to build at approximately $100,000 per mile. It's about 400 feet above the Animas River at this point. Coming up on the left is the Tacoma Hydroelectric Power Plant. This is the oldest hydroelectric plant in the U.S. that still uses its original generating equipment. There's quite a story to how it got its name. The equipment was originally slated to go to Tacoma, Washington, but came here by mistake. And the people building the plant didn't really notice it, even though all the crates were labeled Tacoma on the outside. They just installed the equipment and went along with it. Just like driving a car, the engineers on a train also have to obey speed limits. Sometimes they change from day to day depending on construction or weather conditions or other items along the way. At times you may notice some pieces of paper stuck in the window by the engineer's elbow. That is a list showing him all the speed restrictions by mile marker. There is no speedometer in the cab. The engineer goes by feel, and different speeds actually have names. For example, 5 miles an hour is called walking speed. Here we are at Tank Creek, the first of 2 watering stops on the trip to Silverton. This is also where the lead engine will couple back onto the train for the rest of the journey. I climbed partway up on top of the tender and enjoyed some good views along the top of the train while we were watering. Mark takes this opportunity to do a little bit of lubricating. And when we get underway again, Mark and Brock change places. Brock is certified as a fireman and he's in training as an engineer, so this gives him some time behind the throttles and getting experience towards his training. Soon we're at the Needleton water tank for our second water stop. Here's an old mine that we passed on the way into Silverton. On the outskirts of Silverton is a Y. A Y is a 3-legged section of track that the railroads use to turn trains and locomotives around so that they can face the other direction. The balcony on the front of this saloon is a place where the working women would stand out there and greet the miners as they got off the train. Here we see the observation cars at the tail end of both trains. On the left was the diesel train, and here's the Alamosa. That's where I'll be riding on the way back this afternoon. This would be my seat for the afternoon return trip. The observation cars are set up as quite a first-class experience. It's really the extreme opposite of what I had on the trip up. This is Ellie, our hostess in the Alamosa. She took care of refreshments and told us interesting stories. So here we are, meandering our way out of Silverton, headed back south to Durango. I looking in the little ponds and creek on the side. It looks like we're getting a little sprinkle of rain. But I don't know what mountain that is up there. But it looks like there's a hole, like a natural stone bridge there up at the top. It's pretty interesting. But here's I think it's the Animas River that we follow down through. It's a lot quieter back here. I can actually talk with the video. And I had some still shots of that abandoned mine earlier. What a beautiful day. Bridge that they built back in here. On the left you'll see the trestle that was the original route, and they abandoned that in '64 because of where it was in the curve of the river. It was being undercut and it was dangerous and too hard to maintain. A lot quieter on this end of the train. Down a little bit. I don't remember the reason for this. This morning I saw the engineer's sheet and he had a whole list of track speed restrictions for the route.
we're going to come around a curve, and you're all going to be shooting at this bank over here on this side. And if you're doing, and I'll tell you when, you don't have to start now, I'll tell you when we're real close. And if you're filming, don't stop right away. You'll see the tank, you'll see it overfilling, you'll see the sign that says Tank Creek. This is an unscheduled stop.
I think we're stopping.
Of course, this is an unscheduled stop, something to put. But, and as you pull back from the tank, you get some more interesting spots shooting down. So just hang tight. Might just be a slow order. But it'll be a little bit here because we're going real slow, but I'll play when we're coming around the curve.
Somebody laying down on the track.
Oh, that's Dudley Do-Right and his girl.
Yeah.
Or no, Dudley Do-Right.
Do-Right.
He saves her.
What makes the clicking sound, you know?
It's when the wheels are going over the joints in the track.
Oh, is that
See,
right? Okay.
yes.
I see, okay.
So in every truck, okay, the car has 2 trucks. Each truck has 2 axles or 4 wheels.
Right.
So, and you notice the joints in the track are not lined up with each other. So you get a lot of different clicks and clacks
Different
with
rhythms,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. And it'll change. When you go around a curve, of course, the outside track is longer, so it'll have more joints.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was a slow order. You see that green placard? There, when you come into these green and yellow placards, they're slow orders. So going that way, that green says, when you hit the green going that way, you can pick up the green. So on the other side, you hit the yellow, so
Yeah, he had one spot that was 5 miles an hour this morning.
walking through the High Line is a permanent slow order.
Yeah. And then the other bad one was that construction site where they were doing the track repairs. He had a slow order. Actually, I think that's where they had to ask permission to go through there.
Yeah, there is pretty communication with this map. That's way down.
Something must have changed this morning or since this morning.
See all this rail down in the river? That was 1970. Miles of track taken out with flooding, summer flooding.
Soon we were approaching Durango again, and the trip was almost over. If you ever get out to Durango, I strongly recommend spending your day riding the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railway. It's a really great experience.